Hey guys, in this tutorial, in this section, we're going to talk about update and delete. And there's not too much to learn about basic updating and deleting. Basically, update will edit. You can edit a column. You can change a value, and you need to use a where clause so it knows where you want to change or delete this value. All right, so let's go to our. I want to take a look at our products table. Alright, so let's say that we want to change this product, this Surface tablet. We want to change the name to, say, Microsoft Surface Tablet. So we can update this, we can update the name, and we need to say where something. So the best way to do this would be to say where ID equals 3. Alright, but we could say where name equals Surface Tablet. But the thing is, if we happen to have another product called Surface Tablet, and that's treated as a different product, that's going to be updated as well. So you should always use the foreign key when updating anything. Alright, and when you delete something, you want to make sure you use a unique ID, because if we delete, say, delete from products where price equals 300, that's a pretty stupid query, because it's going to delete everything that costs 300. Alright, so let's go ahead and run a couple queries here. Alright, so update syntax is pretty easy. We're just going to say update products, and we want to use the set keyword. Alright, so we say set, and we want the name of the column we want to change, which is name. So we'll say set name equals Microsoft Surface Tablet. Capital. Now this is what we want to change the name to. Alright, this isn't what we're looking for, it's what we want to change it to. And we could also change other values, but I'll do that in the next query. So we need to say where, and we could say where name equals Surface Tablet, which is fine in this case because we know that there's no other product with the name Surface Tablet, so that's fine. But when you're building your application, you want to make it so that you're using a unique ID or some kind of identifier instead of just a string of text. So the better way to do this, let's see, I want to see what ID that is. I believe it's 3. So products Surface Tablet is 3. Alright, so instead of this, we want to say where ID equals 3. And you'll build your application to do this automatically. Obviously, you're not going to type this in manually for when you're updating a row. So you want to just build your application to get it by the ID. All right. If you are in fact for some reason writing manual queries and you know that there's no other fields with the name Surface Tablet, then that's fine. But that's usually not the case. All right. So let's see what that does. It says one row affected. So if we go to our products, we now have a Microsoft Surface Tablet. Alright, so I want to do another update where we want to change multiple fields. So let's go to our customers. What I want to do is change this first customer, Sandy Williams. I want to change her first and last name as well as the email. Alright, so if we go back to store and then SQL, we'll say update customers set, and we want to change the first name. We'll change that to we'll say just Michelle, and then we want a comma, and we want to put the next field, or the next column name, which will be last name, and we'll just say Smith. Alright, and then another comma, and we want to change the email. So the email we'll just say is michelle@gmail.com. Alright, now we want to put our where, which should be a unique identifier. In this case will be ID, and that'll be equal to 1. So if we click go, and then we go to customers, you can see that the user with the ID of 1 has changed the first name, last name, and email. Alright, so let's do a delete. Let's say that Harry Henderson is no longer a customer. He's moved on, he's dead, or whatever. We want to delete him from the system. So we need to know that his ID is 7. We don't want to delete everyone with the first name Harry, obviously, or even the last name, or any of these. We need to use the ID. Alright, so let's go to SQL, and we're going to say delete from customers. Now it's very, very important that you specify your where clause, and you want to use a unique identifier. Those are key things in doing any kind of delete, because you could mess up and delete your entire customers table, and you don't want to do that. Alright, so you want to make sure you say where ID is equal to whatever. Alright, in this case it's 7. So let's run that, and when you do this within PHPMyAdmin, you actually get a confirmation if you're doing any kind of delete. So we're going to say OK, and we can't delete it because we have a foreign key restraint. So what we need to do is delete Harry's address from the addresses table. Alright, so if we go to customer addresses, and let's see, the customer ID is 7, so this is his address here. So let's delete that. Let's rearrange this a little bit. We'll say delete from customer addresses where ID is equal, I'm sorry, see, I almost messed that up, where customer equals 7. Alright, so let's make sure that's gone. No customer 7. Alright, so now we should be able to delete Harry. Alright, so Harry should be gone. Alright, so that was actually a perfect example of relations in foreign keys. If you remember, when we set up the address and customer relationship, we chose restrict, which means that it won't delete, it's not going to delete the customer if the customer's address is still in the system. We could have chose cascade, which would have delete both automatically, or we could have chose no action and just left his address in there, which we don't want. Alright, so that's a good example of how these tables can relate to each other. But that's really it for update and delete. Next we'll look into joining tables and selecting data from multiple tables.